Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's effort to force a vote on the Green New Deal is better understood when you hear what other Republicans have to say about the Democrats' sweeping proposal.
They introduced the so-called Green New Deal. It sounds like a high school term paper that got a low mark.
There's another victim of the Green New Deal. It's ice cream. Livestock will be banned. Say goodbye to dairy, to beef, to family farms, to ranches. Americans' favorites like cheeseburgers and a milkshake will become a thing of the past.
Congressman Ocasio-Cortez said that the world was going to be over in 12 years anyway, so I don't know why we would spend money on a deal if the world's going to come to an end. They're beholden to this radical base that wants the country to run on unicorns and gumdrops.
Well, I'm joined right now by U.S. Congressman Joe Kennedy of Massachusetts. Thank you. What do you make of Trump, in this case, Mitch McConnell's game he's playing?
Look, I hope he does put it on the floor. I hope they do have a chance to vote on it. Look, what the Green New Deal says, and I'm not so sure many of those folks that you just showed have actually read it. It's not that long. I'd urge them to take a look at it. What it says is that we've got two major challenges in this country. One is climate change on this planet, and two is an economy that is not working for everybody. And so let's take the reforms necessary that we need to make in our economy and make that actually address climate change. And it sets out these aspirations that on the baseline, Chris, say a very simple thing. We've got these major structural challenges. Government has to be at the table and a force to actually address them. And so let's try to aim high to try to address those goals to make sure that American families, not only do we have a better environment, but we could take down the level of economic anxiety that families are feeling across this country. And if Republicans are going to be against that, then that's on them. This is a chance for them to have a chance to get on the record and say, do they feel the economic insecurity? Do they acknowledge that science exists? And are they willing to actually use the power of our economy to address these structural inequities? That's on them if they don't.
Let's break this into two questions. Why do you think Republicans, they're pro-business, of course, but most people are pro-business in some way. Why do they make fun? Well, in those clips we just showed, they're making fun of the climate challenge we're facing as a species. Yeah. People who live on Earth. Why do they make fun of it?
Look, that's a better question for Republicans. I have met with plenty of businesses and some of the biggest businesses in the world where they indicate that climate change is one of the biggest challenges that they face. You talk to most businessmen around this country, business leaders, men or women, and they will acknowledge that.
Well, we're looking at it. Look at it.
But
Arctic, it's coming apart. It's all, iceberg after iceberg. You got Florida. Miami's about 4 or 5 feet above sea level now.
Chris, you've been around this obviously a lot longer than I have. There was, however, a saying when I was in the court system trying cases: when you had the facts, you had the facts. When you had the law, you had the law, argued the law. And when you had nothing, you got loud. They don't have the facts. Yeah. They don't have the law. And so what do? Stick your heads in the sand and claim that the science doesn't exist, that there's nothing we can do about it, that climate change isn't real, that it's a hoax, that the vast majority of every scientist in this world is wrong, instead of actually trying to leverage the power of our economy and our government to address this problem. And that's why I hope Mitch McConnell puts this on the floor. Right. Very seldom in this country do we have a chance for political leaders to actually cast a vote to say, are you going to be on the right side of history or the wrong side? I look forward to Mr. McConnell making that choice for his caucus.
Let's talk about the economic issue, because you and I had a great breakfast a couple weeks ago. We talked about the corporate world, and because they have the economic power. How can we have a corporate morality, a morality where people make big... You talked about the fact that big corporations are buying back stock. Yeah. That's the first thing they do when they get a tax break. They raise the value of their own stock. Yeah. That's very good for management and for the owners, but it doesn't do anything for creating jobs.
Look, Chris, I think this fits in quite a bit, actually, with the Green New Deal, and I applaud my colleagues, Mr. Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Markey, for putting this together. What this is a recognition that our economy, the American economy, has done more to bring more people out of poverty and provide more prosperity in the United States and around the world than any other economic system in history. But we are seeing that the gains of that, particularly in the past 20, 30, 40 years, have gone to the top echelon of our society, and that those gains have not been widespread. What we need to do is reconfigure that to ensure that workers get a fair shake for what they've done.
Because in the 50s and 60s, you could have one person in the family working, if that's the way you wanted to do it. You could actually afford that. And the kids would go to college, they'd be able to play golf and live a middle-class life for one person working. Those days are way gone.
Those days are gone. And so, look, the 50s and 60s obviously we had our own separate set of struggles, but with a single wage earner, you could provide a pathway, for a lot of folks anyway, you could provide a pathway to a middle-class job and a safe and secure retirement. That is not the reality anymore. And our government structures, our economic structures, not only have they not caught up, they've been actively eroded those worker protections, the protections around pensions, the investments taking place. I point out an example in my district, which has been repeated in dozens of others around the country, of a plant that had been in Fall River, Massachusetts for over 40 years, Phillips Lighting, that the company itself is a global corporation, got about $340 million in global profits last year, took $180 million in a stock buyback. And then shortly thereafter that stock buyback was announced, they said that they were going to fire 160 employees in that plant and sip the jobs.
So the tax break led the wealth at the top. Let me ask you about this 2020. You've endorsed Senator Warren of your state. What's that fight going to be about? You know, I had a breakfast with her, or lunch with her one time. She was very clear. She said, I believe in capitalism.
She is.
I'm not a socialist. Is that going to be the kind of ideological battle? I mean, I never heard a Democrat saying they were socialist till recently. A couple are doing it now. Bernie, of course, Ocasio-Cortez. This ideological thing, how's that going to work out in this debate?
No, look,
because it is going to be ideological.
So it is. There's going to be exactly what I think we need to have, which is a big, robust debate in our country. And I think we've got an incredible number of talented candidates at the top. I'm proud to support Senator Warren, my home state senator, my former teacher, and somebody whose values I know are about trying to make the structures and the power of an economy actually work for everybody. And that's what she's actually led her life to. That's what she studied, her main area of focus about bankruptcy, which as her student, I remember in her office hours one day wondering why, of all subjects, would you choose bankruptcy? And she said, because this is about how a society is picked up, or a society treats those after they fall. Do we pick them up and let them start again? That's what we should be doing.
Thank you so much. U.S. Congressman Joe Kennedy III of Massachusetts.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.